Hello everyone, my name is Clutch and welcome to Lucifer Mechanics Garage of drag, speed, and styrene customs fabrication.
Jamming those gears straight out of hell. The front wheels never touch the ground, destroying everything that affects, making me rich for my sins. Welcome to the Lucifers Mechanics Garage.
How's it going everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Lucifer Mechanics Garage. My last video I posted doing some chassis work on the Impala chassis, or the Biscayne. I was telling you guys about how I had to fill in all these seams and put the braces in here, and as you can see today I got all this right here worked out, and filling in the holes when I open the trunk, filling in all these slots for the frame, where the frame would be. So this is where this tutorial is going to come in handy, like I told you about yesterday. Basically what I'm brewing up here is some liquid styrene. Now this has been known for a long time, so this is, a lot of you modelers might know about it. Some of you new guys might not, but a lot of people use this. I learned it about 7 years ago from a good friend of mine, and it's basically the same ideal as like if you got resin parts or a body, it needs filling or holes. Usually the best thing to fill it with is resin. So like if you got resin laying around, you can mix up a small batch, fill the holes, and you can go in and it blends right in with it. Well, the same theory is with this. So I just wanted to show you how to make it. Some of you made some comments about how you want to try it, so I thought I'd give you a little idea how it works. Here's a batch that I made already. This is kind of thin. I got another one over here that's a little bit thicker that I put together, mixed up. And tonight, when I get all the other stuff done for this chassis, I'm going to go in there and put just the thin layers of coats in there, so I can build me up something, so I can have something just a little bit to sand on, But anyway, if you work with styrene, you always save your ends and pieces. This is just one little Tupperware bowl that I've got. I've got like 5 or 6 of these just full of just odds and ends, because I always keep, you never know when you run out, you need an extra piece or whatnot. So the best thing to use for this is to use like a 5 to 10,000 sheet plastic, because the smaller pieces you cut up and put in, the faster the glue will make. If you wind up using thick pieces like this, it takes longer, and half the time it just clumps up and it won't dissolve all the way. So the best thing to do is to get 5 or 10,000 sheet styrene. It can't be plastic spruce. It don't work that good. It does work, but it don't work as good as styrene with styrene. For some reason, I don't know. But anyway, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to do this. Basically, you get your paint jar. Clean it out real good. Make sure it's, ain't got no dust or chemicals in it or anything like that. You open her up. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to take your styrene, okay, and you want to cut it in small pieces. Like I said, just just go through there and just cut you some strips out, like so. If you're like me and you go to the hobby store or you go to swap meets, they sell sheets of this cheap. I mean, you can get like an 8x10 sheet for like $1.50, or even cheaper sometimes. It depends on who's selling it. And then what you do is you just take it, you just cut it up, and like I said, little square pieces. Because the smaller you make it, the faster it'll dissolve, and you won't get all that clumpiness in there. And then you have to add more liquid glue to you know, to make it thicker. I mean, to thin it out. And that's the whole purpose of, I mean, you can make it thinner if you want. It just depends on your application. Thinner usually lays in better when you're like doing body work and, you know, filling in gaps. The thicker comes in handy more if you like if you're putting two pieces together, which I'll show you here in a minute how good it works. So you just keep cutting you some little pieces. Okay, I'll cut one more up and then we'll cut them up. You know, I use this for a lot of stuff. I use it for, you know, like I said, filling in gaps. I use it to connect pieces together. It really works well, like I said, with bodies, frames. I mean, you can even use it for a good substitute as far as glue goes. Because if you get a good mixture going, it's basically it's like putting it together with just liquid styrene. Okay, let's take this and try to group this up here and cut these into little pieces. It just makes it easier, you know. I mean, you ain't got to go through all this. It might take a little longer, but I like to cut it all up into little pieces like so. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and put her in there, see what we got. Alright. Now, once you got it all cut, this is pretty simple. It's not science, rocket science or none. You just throw it in there like so. Get her in there. Let's move this stuff off to the side. Okay. Now, a lot of people use different liquid. It's a basically what this is. It's a methylene chloride. Now you can basically almost get this at the hardware store if you can find it. I know a lot of people who do that, buy it by the gallon. It's cheaper. Excuse me. And you know, I mean, but there's different brands and different styles. A lot of people use a Tamiya liquid. They come in different assortments with you know, with this little thicker and stuff. I'm gonna be trying some new stuff here coming in. It's called Liquid Magic or something like that from Deluxe Materials. It's supposed to be like in between a thick and a thin Tamiya. It's supposed to be really good. But anyway, you take the top off of it. And after you got your pieces cut and you got them inside your jar, you take an eyedropper and you get your little dip in there and you put it in there. Just get you enough to coat it in. Coat the bottom with a thin layer. Okay. Set that off to the side. And then you grab yourself a toothpick and you just work it in there, you know. You just get it in there, help it melt out a little bit. See how it's looking, see how it's melting. And it melts pretty quick. Like I said, it really depends on how much you put in. And you know, you can make it thick or thin. Usually if you get it too thin, it's really watery and it really don't, you know, it really don't have no use. I mean, you can use it, but it's best to thicken it up. You can always throw pieces in, you know, to adjust how you want it. Okay, let's mix this in here. All right, let's see. She's melting pretty good. All right, give me about 15. Let this melt, and I'll come right back with you. Okay. Alright everyone, we're back. We seem to got a good melt here going on. It's been about 10 minutes. As you can see inside there, we got ourselves a pretty good mix going on. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker than, it's kind of like almost like an Elmer's glue kind of thick. You can see there's still some globs up in there that'll eventually melt, you know, in about another 20 minutes. But you know what I usually do is you can leave it set, and I just usually sit there and just stir it just to pass the time, and just stir it up, and you'll get that thickness out of there. Now, from what I cut before, I wound up cutting this much more and adding another eye drop of this about right there. So I added about 4 eye drops about this far, about measuring this much, and what I cut before, and then plus 4 more lengths like this while the camera was off to get what I got now. I mean, it comes to about right there as far as, you know, being tall enough, but that's really all you need for just a little while. Or you can cut more and add more if you want, depending on how much you want to make. But it really don't take much of this, you know, because it spreads out good. But right now we got a pretty good mix going on. Let's get rid of that right there. All right. Now you just want to grab you like a cheap brush, or, you know, whatever brush you desire sitting around. Make sure that the tip is somewhat not flared out, you know. And let me experiment. I'll show you a little piece here that now this is one that I glued, I don't know, I'd say about an hour ago with this mix here. And as you can see, it you know, it's pretty tough, you know what I mean. It's like I'm putting some good pressure on it, and you know, it sticks is my whole point of it, you know. It you know, it's basically like putting a glue on there, but you know, it's just an additive. So what I usually do is when I'm connecting pieces together with it, and I want to use it for like like when I'm putting pieces together, and to avoid from like adding, you know, filling in the gaps, what I usually do is whatever. This is just to show you, kind of. Just take your little sandpaper, a little 600 grit, and you sand the sides, you know, because you want to have just a little bit of, you know, friction in there to something for it to adhere to. And you take your brush, okay, and you just dip it in there like paint, and then you just gradually wipe it across, and it's just like paint. It goes on there. Okay. Now, and you take your piece. There's the side of sanding, and you just put it together like this. Okay. Now you see it squishes out, which is what I like about it. That way it fills in the seams at the same time as it does, you know, as gluing it together. All right. Put this over here. Now with the brush, what I do is I clean it with alcohol. Rubbing alcohol, like 91% isopropyl. What you do is just take it in there and just wipe it, just like you would a brush with thinner. And then take a brush and wipe her down. You know, make sure you get all that alcohol off of there for your next use. But and then you put this back on. And yeah, there you go. I mean, it's like I said, it comes in handy when you're like, see, like I got to fill in all these seams inside here, and you know, along here, and you know, in here, and then when I put the the floor supports in, what goes across here, I'll layer them with that, and then I'll let it dry for about, you know, I'd say about, you know, 3 or 4 hours. Which some people be like, oh, won't you just glue it? But the whole point of it is that I get a base to sand on, where I ain't got to fill it in with Bondo or what, you know, whatever you're going to use. It's just a lot easier because you're working with plastic. And like I said, you put it in these seams real nice with the thin stuff, and you know, it's just it flows in there real good, and it gives you something to work with instead of like Bondo. It shrinks and stuff. This stuff does not shrink. So, but yeah, there you go. I mean, basically, there's no formula to it. You just, like you seen what I cut up before, and you put it in there, and then you know, the smaller the pieces you use, the better, the quicker it will dissolve. And then Like I said, it's got a decent consistency. You know, it's pretty thick, probably just like Elmer's glue. But then see this mix here, I got is thin, and got my special little toothpick I made for this to stir it up. And then this stuff right here is a little bit thinner, as you can see. You know, it dips a little bit, you know. So this is mainly for like if you want it to flow in good places. And this right here is used more as a glue, you know, like when you're putting two pieces together. And it does work. I mean, is it crazy glue? No, but crazy glue, when it gets hard, it crystallizes and it's got a snap point. And when it snaps, sometimes it breaks off pieces. This stuff right here, it will be absorbent, and it, you know, like I said, it's really better to work with than it is to work with putty, and you don't get it all over the place, and it ain't messy. So, but basically, when you're done getting your mix, whether it's thin, if you want it to be a little thinner, add some more. And if you get it too thin, just cut a couple small pieces of styrene, and you know, and add it to it. It just depends on the mix you want. And then you just basically put the cap on it, put your label on it, thin styrene, you know, thin mix, and then you put like a thick mix, whatever you're going to use, and there you go. I mean, it's that easy. It's like I said, I've learned this about 7 years ago or so from a good friend of mine who does a lot of body work, chopping tops and stuff. And you know, he swore by it, and then ever since I've been using it for filling in gaps and even, you know, gluing pieces together that I know that I have to go in and clean, so that way when you put it together, it squishes that little bit out and you can work with it. You know, and it ain't like Bondo or anything like that to where it gets messy all over the place. But yeah, so I hope you can use this. Like I said, give it a try. Make you a little batch up, and you know, always make sure that you put the top on it so that way it'll last. If you don't, it'll dry out and get thick and hard on you. So yeah, I hope you can use this and put it in your arsenal. It comes in handy. Get used to working with it, and so yeah. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking it out. I hope this helps you, and you know, welcome to another episode of Lucifer Mechanics Garage. Love your families, love your pets, and enjoy this beautiful weather we're having. Until next time, talk to you guys later. Bye.
Lucifers! Get it! Sunday! Everybody gather around the strip for once-in-a-lifetime drag. We have a very special race for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have Lucifer driving his full nitro funny car Camaro, ready to shred tires in competition at hellish speed. Lucifer will be holding grudge matches all night, gambling for souls. And don't fret, ladies and gentlemen, nothing will slow down his car, not even after